Retro PC Durham. Chris here with another video. We've got this HP small form factor desktop PC. This specifically is an HP Compaq 8200 Elite small form factor, and the product number on this is XL510AV. Yeah, okay, there you go. So this is a Core i generation small form factor. I think it's a Gen 1 Core i5. We'll see once we get it all booted up. But you know, good little machine. Take a look at the front here. You've got a DVD RAM drive. I think it's a DVD RAM drive. Might just be a DVD drive, but you know, who uses optical in modern machines anymore anyway? Power button, some indicator lights, our HP logo. This isn't rotatable, right? So it's kind of meant to be in desktop format, but we have it in a tower view here. 4 USB ports in the front. Those are 2.0. We've got a headset and one that says headset and mic. So I guess if you've got like a combo like headset microphone thing, you plug it into the top one. If you just have a microphone, you plug it into the top one. And if you just have earphones, you plug it into the bottom one. Move around to the back of this. We've got a pretty basic setup here. So there is our keyboard and mouse ports, a serial port, which is incredibly common on these small form factor desktop PCs from like HP, Dell, and Lenovo over the years. That they've had like serial ports was like stayed on forever and ever and ever. And it's because from a business standpoint, there's a lot of devices, commercial devices, that would still communicate via serial. So these were kind of easy to have on standard. In fact, I know even if you look at like modern business desktops, which are like the small form factor Intel Nuke, the Lenovo's like ThinkCentre Tiny product, they still have options today to get a serial port added onto your system. It's kind of cool. Our audio port to the back, power connector, more USB ports, a total of 6 on the back, our gigabit Ethernet, a display port and VGA outputs, and then there's a parallel port here, which is just an expansion off the board. It's not an actual add-in card. Anyway, so let's go to the top-down view and we'll take a look at what's inside. Pretty easy to open up. Just pull the handle here and you've got access to the machine. We've got a lot of like easy to adjust items within this, right? Little, oh, that's a little bit grating, isn't it? Okay, well, these are supposed to be very toolless in design, but it's very catchy. It may just be the age on here. This is supposed to have a catch here for the power supply, this green switch here. That appears to be not working properly anymore anyway, but we'll roll that out. Here you can roll out your optical side, and then this kind of unclips here. If you take this off, you can get to the rest of the system board, but I'm going to leave this part clipped in still so we can see what we've got with our board here. Your i5 processor is underneath here. The fan is here, blows over a passive cooler and then over out to the back. So just a single fan design. Your optical drive and SATA hard drive. Then you've got your power supply. Here you can see here we've got this lift off for the parallel port. There are a pair of by 16 PCIe slots and then a 1x. And then we've got a PCI slot as well. So if you needed to do some expansion on this, you could perhaps put a low profile video card in here. The way that these usually are designed is whatever the rating on this power supply is, right? It's got to be enough. So this is a 240 watt power supply. This is supposed to be enough that it powers everything that's installed in the system and can supply power to any devices that are installed on the system board. I don't know if that's actually true. With a 240 watt power supply and 2 PCIe slots, that would be 150 watts of power delivery to the PCIe slots, like 75 per. I'm not sure if that leaves enough for everything else. So they maybe kind of had some restrictions on expansion slots here. Maybe that's why one of these is white and one of these is black. Maybe it's saying like, hey, you know, the white one, don't put anything that you need a lot of power through, but you can get your full 75 watts of power delivery out of this. So you could put a single low profile card in here. It's really the only thing you would need to add, apart from like maybe like a Wi-Fi adapter, which you could plug into this slot here or use one of the USB ports for. You've got 4 DIMM slots here for memory. We've got a pair of 2 gig DIMMs in here. You could get up to 16 gig, four 4 gig DIMMs, I believe, to get up to 16 gig of RAM with this processor. And yeah, it's all ready to go. I noticed some other stuff on here as well from an expansion perspective. You can see this power, right? The way that you've got machines that are custom built from HP, the power connector is like a dedicated power connector, right? It's custom, right? It comes off the power supply and just plugs in with this 6-plug slot here, and then there's another 4-pin here that goes over to the front, which is probably for CPU power. And then you've got this adapter here, which is a 4-port that comes off the system board and gives me some SATA connectors to plug my stuff in here. And then I've got one more here. So I'm not sure, like, these custom jobbies, maybe this was designed, I could install like one more hard drive down here to plug in, right? And then I've got 2 more SATA connectors here for additional peripherals. So again, I'm not sure exactly like why they always had to do these weird custom jobs. Like, I guess it was, I know why they did it. It's because they didn't want people to take machines out or upgrade or fix them themselves. They wanted to make sure that you were stuck getting HP components for whatever you needed to do. So it is what it is. So we get that plugged back in, and I think that's down as far as it needs to go. We put our lid back on, and we're ready. So I'm going to get this flipped back up. We're going to plug in a monitor and keyboard and stuff to it, and we'll get booted up into Windows. All right, we're all set up here with our desktop. We have this Samsung SyncMaster 943N. So this is a 19-inch 1020 or 1280 by 1024 LCD or LED, whatever screen. And then we have this Logitech K120 USB keyboard. It's not terrible, but you know, it's kind of spongy, but you know, it gets the job done. And then our temporary mouse that we're using right now, because I don't have donation mice for any of these donations that I've had over the last couple weeks to months or whatever. Mice seem to be not getting donated. Good thing they're pretty easy to find. You can usually go to the dollar store and find one for, you know, $4 for a cheap like wireless mouse, or you can check the thrift stores. Usually they have them for sale, you know, alongside keyboards and stuff for under $5. Anyways, let's hit the power button and get ourselves our boot test. Everything seems to be okay. We got our HP logo, and now Windows will be loading up, so we can get the camera moved a little bit closer to the screen, and we will take a closer look at our hardware specs. Hardware info gives us some more details here. So this is in fact a Core i5 2nd generation processor. This is an i5-2320 quad core, non-hyper-threaded, 3 gigahertz of performance and vPro enabled. Actually a pretty decent processor, even still today in terms of functionality. You could get quite a bit of life out of this. We're using the Intel HD graphics that are built into this as well from the Sandy Bridge platform, which is perfectly decent. And we've got 4 gig of DDR3 memory, as I mentioned, with those pair of 2 gig Kingston DIMMs. And then hard drive is a Western Digital 7200 RPM 320 gig drive. Yeah, so it's pretty good. All in all, the specs on this is you know, absolutely decent, and even still a little bit of upgradability for it going into the future. Let's swap over to Chrome here, and we will take a look at our Crab Rave test. We're going to run 1080p here. Obviously, our view window is going to be a little bit smaller because the screen here is a 1280 by 1024, so that's native 720p on widescreen. But our quality is going to be perfectly fine here. We had 1 frame drop there just at the beginning while it was doing the buffering, but other than that, it's running just fine. No skips, no hitches, nothing. Perfectly acceptable. I would expect no less in terms of performance from a 2nd generation Core i processor. So that will finish our look at this HP 8200 Elite small form factor computer. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Hope you're staying safe and healthy, and we'll catch you in the next one.